No, 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 no! Ugh. For crying out loud, I already have a mercenary group on me, and I already have several pieces of bad media that I have to review. But honestly, I'd rather listen to freaking Baby Shark in the same way as Clockwork Orange. Unless... Wait a minute! Fire!
What am I going to review after that? Oh, I know who's calling me.
Hey, Xandrew.
Handy fan, what's up? How was your court date?
Well, to answer your question, we were about to be fined $1 million for collateral damage, but the charges were dropped when they found the real culprit, but now I'm in a deadlocked. Not only do I have several mercenaries on my ass, I now have several pieces of seemingly bad medium that I don't wish to look over.
Wow, sorry to hear that. Is there anything I can do to help?
Well, to answer that question, seeing your review on the Bionicle Automata set gave me an idea. And I'd like to ask, would you be up for doing a crossover with me?
Sure, I've never reviewed a fan film before, so this might be fun.
Awesome! Now then, under review and intro transition!
Intro transaction?
If I could ride the sky, I'd leave it all behind. Diving through the clouds, surpassing all space and time. Like seekers from the old, expanses untold. Fade into the darkness of a memory. In the infinite light, glittering white, gleaming and reflecting with the secrets of time. Unfolding my sails, catching the gale, traversing the solid trail. I'm searching for the elden fire. Unlock the way to celestial flight. I dream of the endless stars, forging my path to the gateways of worlds beyond.
Welcome to the first ever crossover review of Fandemic, where we thoroughly analyze various types of independent or fan-made media. I'm your host, Indie Fan.
And hello, everybody! I'm Xandrew.
Jeez, you're loud.
Sorry about that. So, Indy, what are we reviewing?
Well, Xandrew, I'm glad you asked, but first, let's talk about a little Danish toy company known as Lego.
Lego's Danish?
What'd you think it was?
I thought it was made in America. But now I know.
It was the late 90s. Lego was in a massive amount of financial debt, and it seems like the once mighty toy giant was going to last fall. A leading factor to Lego's limbo was Pokemon, as it spread like wildfire across the globe. Lego needed a miracle. They needed an idea that would get them back on their feet, and save them from the jaws of bankruptcy.
And that miracle was lightning in a bottle, as the toy line would not only go on for a decade, but would change how Lego did business forever. That toy line was Bionicle.
Bionicle was the story of 6 heroes of the elements, the Toa, that had to collect 12 masks of power to fight the evil known as the Makuta. And just like Pokemon, you had to collect them all.
and several other baddies along the way. Bionicle sold like hotcakes. It gave way to not only just more toys, but also clothing, video games, ironically trading cards, books, and enough lore to rival that of the original Star Wars expanded universe.
What? Wait, what?
Wait, what?
You have gotta be kidding me.
There's no fucking way Bionicle has as much lore as Star Wars. It died before Star Wars even went to Disney. Like, what?
And why do I have a beard?
Also, I think I left my wallet back on Jupiter, so I'll be back.
Oh, please! How could the lore of Star Wars be compatible with a brand that's based on a bunch of plastic building toys? I mean, it's ridiculous!
Happy! Did you take out the trash yet?
Oh my gosh, is he gonna be okay?
Oh, relax. They don't call him Jack the Lego Maniac for nothing.
Oh, okay. Wait, what?
Anywho, at the original stories, and it was replaced by its not-so-popular successor, Hero Factory, to divide and claim. Then in 2015, it was revived, and it didn't have the spirit G1 had. It didn't even have a website dedicated to its lore, something the original continuity actually had.
Oh, Chronicles of Matanui, how I miss ye.
However, despite its unfortunate reboot, hey, at least it's not as bad as Shyamalan's take on Avatar, there's still a dedicated fanbase to this day, even to the extent of some pretty frickin' amazing material, such as cosplay, fanfiction, etc.
And I take it one of those etceteras are fan films, right?
Exactly. And that is what we're going to be looking into today.
Hey, as long as it's not in the animation style of Bionicle Mask of Light, then we're good.
Don't worry, it isn't. But speaking of which, this does take place after the events of said movie.
Oh, really? Nice.
Now, without further ado, let's not waste any more time. This is Bionicle Ignition, Island of Doom.
Wait, ribbon tear!
Not that kind of Doom.
Oh.
So the movie begins with traditional narration of the first three movies.
Gathered friends, listen again to our legend of the Bionicle.
This one's known as the Ugly Barnacle.
The narration sums up that the people called the Matoran and their deity, Matanui, lived in peace and harmony. Until Matanui's evil brother, the aforementioned Makuta, put him in a deep sleep. Chaos followed, the Matoran retreated to a new island, only for the Makuta to follow. Then, 7 heroes, the Toa, came and killed Makuta. And I'm sure we'll never see him again.
We then cut to seconds after the end of the Mask of Light movie as the island populace, along with the Toa, return back to Metro Nui, where Receive Akama reunite with Taraga Duma? You mean to tell me he's been on that freaking island all by himself? Sweet Mata Nui, what's that been like?
I like to imagine that he got a Coley, painted a face on it, and named it Wilson.
I'm more shocked about how an elderly man managed to run an entire island by himself when he's old as heck.
So after hearing about how Takanuva, the Toe of Light, defeated Makuta, Duma states how despite it is a time of peace, there's still work to be done. Honestly, if I were in his shoes, I'd be happy I don't have to do all that heavy lifting anymore.
But not all was peaceful, as a group known as the Paraga appeared, seeing the body of the Makuta. One of them picks up a staff and diffuses one of its members, creating Vizon. A shame they didn't have a flash fusion or a super polymerization in hand. They could have fused them back together.
So Vizon then reveals to Zaktan, the Paraka's leader, that there is a powerful Kanoe mask known as the Mask of Life, which just so happens to be on the island of Voyanui, and by some extraordinary coincidence, the Paraka are thinking the same thing pretty much. Hakan wishes to use the mask to cause chaos, knock money, and Zaktan, most likely, you guessed it, take over the world.
Of course!
Back at Metro Nui, the Toa are in a meeting with the Taraga, spelling out some bad news.
Why so dark serious, Duma?
Nuju and I have been viewing the stars and have come to some horrifying conclusions. Matanui is no longer simply asleep. He is dying.
Dying?
Dying.
Dying?
Dying.
Dying?
Dying.
Dying?
Dying.
Spread the news! Matanui is dying!
Matanui's dying! Ah!
not a drill!
I've never ridden a movie!
Mononoe's dying!
Help me, Mommy! Help me! I want my blankie! I want my blanket!
I don't know what to do! I can't make decisions! I'm a president! It's a cookbook! It's a cookbook! Have mercy on our miserable souls!
However, not all is doom and gloom. As is revealed, there is a great canoeing mask that can prevent the Matoran's doomsday, known as the Mask of Life. Well, what a coincidence. It's the same thing the multicolored spined orcs are after.
Speaking of which, Vizon seems to get to the island and finds the Mask of Life first. However...
So much delicious energy emitting from it, and it's mine, ripe for the taking. What's happening?
It's a trap!
So he then cut to the Matoran of Boyanui, who's having a bit of a crappy harvest.
Hey, at least I'll have a much better harvest than the people of Sheffield.
God damn it, Indy fan!
However, all that changes when a canister washes ashore, revealing it to be Hakan.
What does this little runt want? Get out of my sight!
Are you a Toa?
Does this guy look like a Toa to you? I mean, yeah, don't judge a book by its cover, but pal, I've been working in a library for 10 years, and even I can see trash and dirt when I see it. I mean, for crying out loud! Hakan kills a Kikinalu out of spite, and he still thinks of him as a Toa! Read the literal red flags, Matoran!
And of course, Balta being the idiot he is, accepts Hakan's bluff as he takes him into the village.
For Frel's sake, human children are smarter than these Matoran. Do these people show the same mental capacity as the Fire Nation from Shyamalan's Last Airbender or something?
Not long after, the other Paraka arrived proclaiming to be the Toa the Matoran had been waiting for. Then Zaktan commands the Matoran to drain the volcano, lying that it'll restore the island. That's like plugging in a paper clock in an outlet thinking it's gonna work like a real clock, but all it's gonna do is gonna leave you shocked and burnt.
And Matoran, being the morons they are, decide to go along with it.
If a bunch of spiny-looking robots are considered Toa, what on earth do they consider the Makuta? A Taraga or something?
Well, not all seems to be lost, as some of the Matoran question if they really are Toa.
Why do they insist on draining the great volcano? And why do they order us to construct a stronghold, which we will be forbidden to enter? I think I smell a stone rat.
No! What gave you that idea?
Thankfully, to sneak off and overhear the other quote-unquote Toa conversation about them not being Toa, but in fact, former members of the Dark Hunters. Which seems like such a generic name. I mean, why not take the Toa name, spell it backwards, and call them Aots or something creative for an antagonistical group?
We already had those, and the group they were in actually has merit to the lore.
The Dark Hunters are a society of bounty hunters led by a mysterious being simply known as the Shadowed One. Despite the name, they're not evil in nature. Rather, more like the Mandalorians that they are diverse species-wise. Ever since the death of two Dark Hunters, Nidiki and Kreka in Bionicle 2, they've been at war with Makuta and his underlings, with Radaka being a double agent for both sides.
Wow, you were not kidding about their lore rivaling Star Wars.
You're shocked about that? Wait till you find out what they originally had planned.
Before that, I think we should go back to the review.
Good idea.
So we then cut to Jallar inspecting progress with Matoran soldier.
Reconstruction of the city is underway at full speed.
That's good.
Now that the Toa Nuva are gone, the Tametru Guard is on full alert, just in case.
The Toa left?
The Turaga called them to Duma's quarters a while ago, and they departed right after.
That's odd.
It's like they're on a secret mission or something, and they didn't want anybody to worry or tag along to be in danger. I'm worried. Let's go endanger ourselves and help them. Speaking of danger, the Paraka construct a catapult weapon that they use to mind control the Matoran after discovering the truth.
We, Toa, refuse to tolerate such rebellious behavior.
Should I, Xandrew?
Should you what?
Oh boy.
Das ist weggelegt! Ich hab den Guten angetan! Von Jahren alle höheren Offiziere liquidieren zu lassen, wie Stalin!
This hurts me more than it hurts you!
So we then see Jaller trying to get answers from the Turaga, only to be told to mind his own business. Jaller, not taking that bull, leaves the Turaga to seek the Toa. Said Toa arrive on the island in canisters for D-Day, fighting the Paraka.
Dude, enough with the World War II references!
Watch me!
Okay, you get a pass for this one. Unfortunately, not even a boss song can help out the Toa as they're defeated by the Paraka. Asked what to do with them, Zack then orders them to throw them into the volcano.
Drag their corpses up to the volcano and toss them in.
With their 6 pure hearts, there'll be more than enough to awaken Malagor from his slumber.
So then cut to Huki, Jaller, Nuparu, Kongu, Matoro, and Holly as they gather to try and leave Metro Nui, armed with shields, spears, and
might as well be the Chronicler
Coley
herself.
staffs.
Hey, Xandrew, you up for an adventure?
Always.
Meanwhile, back at Voyanui,
Man, this movie has more transitions than Bakano.
we see the horrific treatment that Paraka give to the Matoran slaves as Hakan demands one to work faster as they drag the Toa Nuva into the volcano, and another one falls in the volcano dying.
And since this happens in the Bionicle lore all the freaking time,
you know, for kids!
However, before they get the chance to throw them in the volcano, it erupts, causing the Paraka to just throw the Toa on the ground, hoping the lava would turn them into lava bones. Which it didn't.
how much you willing to bet this will come back and bite them where the sun don't shine, Xandrew?
$5 to say that it won't.
Okay.
Anyway, we then cut back to Jaller and the gang, plus Takanuva, as they try to reach Voyanui to search for the Toa, only to run to an unknown island and a strange-looking mask.
Well, hey, at least they're not on an island where the inhabitants sacrifice their females to a giant ape.
Or the island that has a giant lobster near it.
And run by a militarized terrorist organization, don't forget that.
Ah, right. Of course. Takanuva puts on said mask and reads Holly's mind with it. Oh yeah, before I forget, the masks in Bionicle, called Konoe, give superpowers, and oh boy, is there a full library of them. From super speed, strength, shielding, x-ray vision, levitation, and underwater breathing. But only the Toa and Turaga can use them. I think. It's kind of been a while since I've looked at this franchise. So, was I close to right, Andy?
Well, yes and no.
When it comes to Matoran, the Konoe are basically typical masks. But when it comes to Toa, and yes, even Makuta, yes, they are in fact a species, these masks have a wide variety of abilities. Something G2 failed to use to the extent of their imagination.
Preach it.
Once again, back at Voyanui, as the Paraka are planning to return to the stronghold, we meet with Balta as he is lost in a tree, feeling hopeless until Axon arrives.
Oh, by the grace of God, another character? Don't we have enough?
Xandrew, this is Bionicle. You have no idea how many characters this franchise can pull out.
And let me guess, this guy's also a Toa, but as a bodybuilder? Because he's made of Legos.
Actually, no.
Axon was a part of a group known as the Order of Artica, which predated the Toa, which disbanded 90,000 years ago before the events of the main story, after learning they've done more harm than good. Feeling there was nothing left, he resorted to conquest and villainy until he joined the Order of Matanui, where he changed his ways and became quite the heroic warrior.
Good gracious, your nerdom to Bionicle equals to link cars to Star Trek!
Oh, you'd be surprised how much I know.
But do you know why kids love Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
No.
Curses! You two!
And you?
So as Axon orders Balta to get to the Great Volcano, we cut to the Toa Nuva as they try to figure out what to do. The surviving Matoran catch up to them, but they basically aren't happy to see them.
Thankfully, Balta arrives just in time to tell the other Matoran that they are indeed the Toa.
Really are Toa?
I don't think I've
Lower
ever
weapon,
seen such
my
a
friends.
beautiful sight. Is there anything that could make this better?
Toa Oniwa being awesome.
Nice to finally get a real welcome.
Oh, this is great! Nothing can stop them now! Right, bad guys.
Meanwhile, Zaktan learns Thok and Hakan left the Toa and isn't taking this well.
Toa slip away like this.
Indy, what's up? Dude, you're starting to scare me here. What is it?
Because your men are more incompetent than fascist Italy?
Ow! And I thought I was loud! Ugh.
Okay, got that out of my system.
What?
I said I got that out of my system!
You got a Super Nintendo system? Well, good for you, but what has this got to do with the review?
Oh boy.
Anyway, after Zaktan tells the others to sweep the island, we see Jowler and the gang follow a strange-looking Matoran through a strange gate that separates them from Toa Takanuva.
What is this? I can't get through the gate. It's like there's an invisible wall.
There's some kind of force field.
Ha! Ants reference!
Oh, for the love of, can you please fix your hearing?
What?
I said, can you please fix your hearing?
What? Hold on, let me fix my hearing. Hello? Check 1, 2, 3, check 1, 2, 3. Okay, good, I can hear. So, what were you saying?
I said, forget it.
Back with the Paraka, Hakan follows Zaktan into the chamber with a green tube in it, but is speaking with a new character on the scene, Brutaka.
Oh, no.
I think you know where this is going.
Brutaka was a lieutenant of the Brotherhood of Makuta, but after becoming dissatisfied with the lifestyle, he was recruited into the Order of Motunui. Brutaka's intellect was useful to the Order, although he was a bit of a jerk as he teleported a literal Tatarak to Metronui for his own amusement. He had a strong friendship with Axon. In fact, both of them were assigned to Voya Nui to protect the Mask of Life itself. Eventually, upon having doubts and feeling abandoned by Motunui himself, he turned on the Order and joined the bad guys.
Are we done with the new characters yet? Because I swear if we get another character, I will go back going deaf!
I'm not telling you.
So the 6 Matoran minus Takanuva run to a strange-looking Matoran, which leads them into the being known as Karzani.
New character! Dang it! Ugh. Okay, so who is this guy? Another member of the Order of Motunui?
No.
The Brotherhood?
No.
The Dark Hunters?
Nope.
Order of Artica?
More no.
Then who the heck is this guy?
I'm glad you asked.
That is Karzani, the insane being of the Bionicle universe ruling over his home island of the same name. He was created alongside Artica by the Great Beings 100,000 years ago. They basically fought over the Mask of Creation, which Karzani lost. While his brother made a haven for good Matoran, Karzani made a hellhole for bad ones. However, he practically sucked at repairing Matoran, in fact, making them weaker than usual. As compensation, he equipped them with weapons and moved them to the southern continent to ensure his mistakes will not be discovered.
So he's basically the Matoran's boogeyman?
Aside from him actually existing and being more unstable than my former mentor, pretty much.
Then why didn't you just say that? Also, a former mentor?
I'd rather not talk about it.
Oh. Okay. Karzani commands Jala's group to take off their masks or else. That else being showing their living nightmares of what-ifs in their lives. Sadly, they give up their masks for new ones made by their new master. As he sends them off, he talks to Hali about the outside world.
Meanwhile, back at Voya Nui, Brutaka has Hakan by Bladehold. However, he manages to persuade him to join his cause, promising him an entire vat of Zamor spears.
What could possibly go wrong?
More wrong than we thought, as Paraka's Thok and Avak on patrol for the Toa figure out a key detail about the island they finally realized. The forest they're in has life as the rest of the island is pretty much dead, putting 2 and 2 together that the Mask of Life is there, and ready to kill Zaktan for being a traitor. I'll give them this. They suck as henchmen, but are great at backstabbing.
Starscream wished he was them.
Meanwhile, back at Self-Named Island, Karzani is learning more from the chronicler Holly. As Karzani tells her his story, he basically tells her the story I previously stated, and Holly is naturally disturbed by this. The remaining 5 Matoran realize the twisted history behind Self-Named Island and naturally want to leave. Meanwhile, back at Voyanui, Zaktan is not doing so well either as he is captured by his own underlings, Thok and Avak.
Hey, that rhymes!
The bad times keep coming as Hakan returns with Brutaka to betray the other Paraka.
So where did a giant like you come from?
I'll give you 3 guesses.
Let's do the backstab again.
It's just a knife. To the back.
And straight through to the heart.
With a smile on your face.
Seeing a corpse on the ground, you can't help but laugh. Laugh and laugh, 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 laugh. Let's do the backstab again. I need help. As the backstabbing continues, Zaktan is set free, and the Toa plus Matoran arrive with masks and weapons at hand. In an earlier scene, the Toa and Matoran planned a way to get to the base to get their weapons back. However, after Zaktan makes a deal with Brutaka to work for him again, he makes short work of our heroes.
Meanwhile, back with Jollar's group trying to escape, they talk to a Matoran, nicknamed Crafter. Crafter states that he has built Toa canisters. They convince him to take a look at them in hopes to escape, but they need to get to Holly.
Unfortunately, Karzani finds them bringing her along, believing she's a liar, saying Matanui, Toa, and the Makuta aren't real, and only he is the only great being, because he's crazy, and is ready to destroy the canisters.
However, Matoro stands up and dares Karzani to send him the worst vision imaginable, that being that Matanui's dead, and that they failed their mission. Karzani is shocked by the vision that Matanui's real, giving our heroes the chance to get in the canisters, escaping the island.
Back on Voyanui, after Zaktan has dealt with Hakan, he and the other Paraka are in the forest hunting for the Mask of Life, coming to realize that only one other person might know where the mask might be. Vizon. Vizok not a fan of this. Thok and Radak, while searching for Vizon, find the canister he came in, and face against Axon, telling them that he serves the mask now. Then is taken down by a surprise attacking Brutaka.
As it rains, the canisters holding Jollar's group are struck by the power of the Red Star. As they arrive on Voyanui, they emerge not as Matoran anymore, but as Toa.
Toa Nika, that is.
This is actually kind of cool. We get a reintroduction of our heroes in new upgraded forms that serve as a new plot twist to the story. Speaking of new, Indy, care to explain?
Actually, that would be spoilers for this one.
Oh, really? Okay, well, let's get back to the story then.
So Vizok is then interrogating Garen, only to notice the red stars flashing and Karma coming back to bite him in the ass as the Voyanui resistance take him by surprise. Meanwhile, back with the Yanika, they are already trying to process their new organic masks, and Holly is pretty much taking it the worst.
Ha! You must get that all the time.
Huh? What are you talking about?
I mean, how does it feel wearing that bandana on your head? You sure it isn't carrying a blinding light?
Oh, ha ha ha! Blinding light.
Come on,
very funny. I have a new superpower!
Proceed.
After which, the former Matoran embraces their role as the new Toa. We cut to Hakan waking up the other Paraka, writing a plan to backstab Zaktan and his Blue Hulk friend Brutaka again.
These people are as reliable as stormtroopers being actual hits.
So the Yanika encounter Vizok, and after a little exchange of words, Vizok becomes trigger happy as he fires his Xandrew spear launcher, but to no avail. They try to get some answers, but basically this happens.
Like Gacula cock I am.
After him. Anywho, they then meet up with Garen as they walk back to their village and explain them their dilemma. While that is happening, Malika creates Xandrew spears for them as well.
Which also begs the question, why didn't they just make it for themselves and use them while they had the chance?
Better the Anika than them, I guess?
So as Holly and Jellard use their new tools to liberate the enslaved Matoran, Cumdoom and Nimparu manage to break into the fencing of the Paraka stronghold, while Huki and Matoro meet up with Axon, who just so happens to be injured after his fight with Brutaka, warning the Toa that he and the Paraka must be stopped.
I don't care if you have to kill him to end it. If Brutaka or the Piraka succeed in their plans.
They won't.
And anyway, Brutaka hasn't met a Toa Nika yet. Boy, he's in for a surprise.
Guys, I understand as critics, trouble usually finds you, but, I don't think a simple review requires such massive guns. Jake, relax. We're responsible adults and... Sorry.
Whoops.
If a group of responsible adults can't handle firearms in a responsible way...
Me again.
Sorry.
So the Toa assemble at the Paraka stronghold, Brutaka also appears, and a great big fight begins.
I think I'll leave this one to you.
Alrighty then.
Wait. Yeah, they're the Baraka. They're supposed to be backstabbers.
And this backstab proved fatal to Brutaka, as it seems Hakan and Thok have absorbed his powers, making short work of both parties. Hanak and Thok leave to seek the Mask of Life. Back with the Toa...
Oh, for the love of Godzilla, please don't do the cringy rap. Not the cringy rap!
What cringy rap?
Ah! For crying out loud, why on earth did you think putting this in a movie was a good idea? I mean, back in 2006, it may have been cool, but in 2025, it is problematic as it can be. For one, it hasn't aged really well, and the main reason being, it's culturally insensitive, for a lack of a better term.
Oh yeah, I know how to fix this. Heck yeah!
Rise of Evil would have been a better choice, but this will suffice. Anywho, the Toa and the remaining Paraka make a deal to stop both Thok and Hakan. Speaking of which, since they can't get along for 5 seconds, they start fighting each other.
And not long after, the Toa arrive to face the two. Yuki finally discovers his mass power, blasting the two, draining the powers away. Thanks for holding that tension of suspense for like 5-10 minutes.
However, the Zamor Huki fired revealed to have an after effect exploding and taking both Toa down.
Oh, you backstabbing cockbite.
Speaking of backstab, the Paraka arrived to retrieve Hakan and Thok back into their ranks to have them find the cave where the mask is. Because that's smart!
Later, the Toa awake, and Brutaka got his powers back. While that is happening, Holly's mask guides them to a cave the Paraka entered.
Said Paraka encounters another Paraka, then some dude Zaktan knows and is blasted by his lasers.
Some dude Zaktan knows? I think you mean Nekton and the Shadowed One.
Who? No!
Oh yeah. The Shadowed One was the leader of the Dark Hunters and one of the original founders of the organization, as a matter of fact. Arrogant, ruthless, and charismatic, he refuses to let anyone slander his honor and despises traitors. Despite this, he does seem to take good care of his fellow Dark Hunters. Hell, the death of 2 of his underlings, Nidika and Kreka, caused him to declare war on the Brotherhood of Makuta. As for Nekton, he was a Skakti warrior who joined the Order of the Motunui to fight Makuta. However, the rest of the story is for another time.
You done?
For now.
Back with the Toa as they too encounter some familiar faces, like Toa Hikan, a dead Toa from Metro Nui, telling them to turn back or be destroyed. They refuse and are attacked by the Makuta and Rakshi Turak, and make short work of them. Konga mentioning that with his mass power, he didn't sense any thoughts, coming to the conclusion that they were nothing more than illusions.
Well, I guess there was.
Meanwhile, back with Protaka and Axon, the two Titans are engaged in battle, and as Protaka monologues, he unveils what his mask can do, which is open portals to other dimensions. Meanwhile, back with the Paraka, they too manage to see through the illusion as they continue on with their quest to find a mask of life, where they run into...
We are the knights who say...
Alright, they didn't actually run into the knights who say knee. They do, however, hear a voice and get teleported apart from each other.
What now? Another one of our ex-bosses? Fire rains from the floor? Vizark breaks into a musical number?
You know what? I just might.
Hey, stop that! Stop that! There will be no singing while I'm here.
Thankfully, it isn't a musical number, as the voice says the Paraka are in separate rooms, and the only way for all of them to be freed is to pull the lever simultaneously. But if one pulls the lever too early, he'll go free, and the others get trapped for all eternity. To which Paraka Rydak does, as the others fall, so does he, for it was a test of unity, and they failed.
Because of course they would.
After regaining themselves as well as play the blame game, they make it to the Chamber of Life where they face Phazon and his new pet, asking where the mask is, and they find that it's fused on the back of his head, as well as the Spear of Fusion, fusing together Vizark and Rydak into this thing.
Sad thing is, I don't think a defusion's gonna fix that. Back on the surface, the Matoran go to the Toa Nuva, using the Zemasphere cure to turn them back to normal. Axon destroys the green tube and defeats Brutaka. However, destroying the tube seems to have released something, with a familiar evil laughter. Suddenly Botar appears and takes the knocked out Brutaka.
I think you know where this is going.
No!
Botar is a member of the Order of Matanui. Not much is known of his kind. Even how he got it hasn't been revealed. His job is basically the jailer of the group.
And I would reveal more, but that'd be spoilers.
Huh. The Inca finally arrive after finding a guardian,
whose name happens to be...
and face up against Phazon. Their first attack only seems to power him up, so they knock him and his beast in the lava, only for it to be bigger and stronger. What seems like all is lost, the Toa use a special Zarmer sphere given by accident to freeze both Phazon and his Vaiku in time and space.
Fenrak!
What did I say?!
Fine.
Anywho, Matoro goes to get the mask off of Vizon with no struggle, and a day is saved. Or it would have been if the Paraka weren't there to try and steal it. Strangely enough, the mask flies free out of Matoro's hands and out of the cave as the Toa give chase. The Paraka, on the other hand, don't. As Zakta basically wants to go back to the base instead.
Jeez, not only are the Paraka backstabbers, but they give up quite easily as well.
The mask goes straight into the ocean. Holly gives chase, but to no avail, the water pressure being too great even for her. Luckily, a Matoran saves her in time with a great asking of help. Before dying.
As the Paraka return to base, wrecked after the fight between Protaka and Axon, Zakta freaks out that the tube was destroyed. We then learn the truth behind the tube.
The Makuta? It all makes sense now. He's the one who planted the thought from the Mask of Life back at his lair. And you knew it all along, Zaktan.
The Makuta lives?
Oh, yes. He lives. Lives to destroy all those who oppose him. Now wouldn't you want to be on that side, as I do? The winning side.
Okay, now you got to explain this! Dang it! And so the Toa Inca reunite with the Toa Nuva and Axon, happy to see them alive. Axon then tells the Inca that their mission's not over yet, and that they must go after the mask. He opens a passage for them to go through, warning them of the new dangers they'll face. The Inca are hesitant, thinking the Nuva should do it, but the Nuva assure them that they can do it, thanks to their heroics both as Matoran and Toa. Plus, the Nuva needing to return to Metru Nui. And so they say their farewells, and our movie ends on a rather gloomy note.
I do not need my mask of truth to tell you we're lying.
Not completely. We truly are headed to Metru Nui, to the Great Temple. But where we must go afterward, they cannot follow.
We still have a destiny to keep ourselves.
We must awaken Metru Nui from steep sleep.
I know, but what good would it be if he wakes up dead?
And that was Bionicle Ignition, Island of Doom. Time for our pros and cons.
The stop animation was pretty good in most parts. Action scenes were handled well, and it was nice to see a story told and to give these characters life. My favorite story segment, surprisingly, was how Jala's group became the new heroes, from escaping the wrath of Karzana, defeating the Paraka, and the Toa Nuva passing the torch in a way. It was nice to see. The storytelling, however, took forever, and I still didn't know what was going on! There were too many segments to follow, the pacing was slow for my liking, which almost put me to sleep, too many characters were shoved in to remember, and I get they were sticking close to and true to the source material, which I'll give praise to, but to fit it all in a 2-hour movie, it just becomes overwhelming to the point it gets boring. For the common Bionicle fan, they might get a kick out of this. But as a former Bionicle fan, I think this furthered me away even more.
At first, I liked it a lot, but honestly, I think it has a lot to improve on. The jokes like Vizok going into a musical number was just complete mood whiplash. There are some plot holes here and there. Green screen could use a little work. Same for some of the voice actors. Hell, you could have used a shadowed one, well, back when he was alive. Or, well, the shadowed one. I mean, if you could use Kalen LLF as Bahatu of all people, not sure how you couldn't do that. That being said, however, a lot of the voice acting here is phenomenal. Stop motion is pretty good, as Xandrew mentioned before, and given what he had no less. The fight choreography isn't too shabby either, and it pays great tribute to the original Bionicle. While I would recommend this for the comic fan, the viewer may watch it if they want. However, you want to start with the lore, I would recommend the Chronicles collection, and Bionicle Mask of Light the movie do get a basic grasp of the lore.
Final analysis is a B-. Well, that was fun.
And that was. Thanks for inviting me. I hope I was able to help with your review.
Anytime. And you know what? That did help, so thanks a lot, man. So with that being said, I'm Indie Fan.
And I'm Xandrew.
And we'll catch you next time. Well, I'm glad I took care of that. And given this is a library, might as well get some reading done. Alright. Time to get some reading done. The hell? Alright, and how about this one? You too?
Something tells me this library isn't your average library. So after, honestly, if I were honest, however, not all is doom and gloom as it's revealed there is a, however, not all is doom and gloom as, however, not all is doom and gloom as it is revealed there is a great Kanoe mask that can prevent the Matoran's doomsday, known as the Mask of Life, which was before mentioned. Well, what a freaking coincidence. It's the same thing, multicolored. The Dark Hunters were a society of bounty hunters led by the mysterious being simply known as the Shadowed One. Despite the name, they're not evil in nature. Rather more like the Mandalorians if they were... Rather more like the Mandalorians if they were device... The Dark Hunters are a society of bounty hunters led by... The Dark Hunters are a bounty... Rather, more like the Mandalorians if they were diverse in nature. And so we then see Jaller trying to get answers from the Turaga, only to be meeting up with and fighting the Paraka. Armed with shields, but meanwhile, Zakten learns back with the Paraka. Akan follows Zakten into the chamber with the green tube, but is speaking with some character. Back with the Paraka, Hakan follows Zakten into the chamber with the green tube. Back with the Paraka, Hakan follows Zakten. In her defense, if I were to see my own people shaped into Meanwhile, back with Jallar's group trying to escape, they talk to a Matoran, nicknamed Crafter, that says that he has built Toa canisters. Karzani is shocked by the vision that Matanui's... Karzani is shocked that... As it rains, the casters holding Jallar's group are stuck by the power of the As they arrive on Voyamu...